Hi, my name is Wilnan Ziada, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with a friend of mine whom I am so grateful to have collaborated with. He is an award-winning guitarist, musical director, arranger. He's worked with Beyonce, Faith Hill, Eric Clapton, the late great Lena Horne, just to name a few. His name, Stephen Bargonetti. For more on Stephen, you can read more about him right below this video. But in the meantime, here's a sneak peek at the amazing talent of Stephen Bargonetti. Hello, Stephen. How are you?
Hey, Will. It's wonderful to see you again and hear you.
It is so good to see and hear you, my friend. Well, the audience just got a little sneak peek of your amazing talent. And like I said in the intro, you have worked with some incredible artists, you being an incredible artist yourself. And
oh, you're so kind.
Well, it's the truth, my friend. I've been in the rehearsal room with you as well. And to think, the likes of Beyonce, Faith Hill, Eric Clapton, the late great Lena Horne, just to name a few, were witness to your beautiful gifts and presence.
Well, I was fortunate to be able to work with them.
Well, you have such a beautiful spirit about you, Steve, and it makes me think that the vibration and the energy of gratitude and love is infectious, and I've been witness to it. And I want to know for you where you grew up and when you realized this love of music was a part of you.
I think from when I was born, I felt it. I like to say I was born in Chicago, and it was during the formative time of the electric blues. And I feel that that's really in my blood. Now, I don't know if that happened through osmosis. But the interesting thing is that when I go back now in retrospect and look at like the baby book that my parents had for me,
yeah,
when I was born, I had a birthmark on the back of my leg that was shaped like a guitar.
Oh my gosh!
So I don't know if this is an indication of some kind of cosmic energy.
Oh.
But it happened that when I was a young teenager, I started playing guitar, and music has been my love since I can remember. I mean, my father tells me a story of when I was 4 years old, they took me for recorder lessons, and the teacher thought that I was so good, he wanted to switch me over to clarinet. But be that as it may, I'm playing this little recorder. We went to see this movie, How the West Was Won. Yeah. And my father tells me that right after the movie, they're putting me to bed, and I'm underneath the sheets playing half of the film score on the recorder. So they said at that point, we knew you had some kind of musical gift.
Well, I mean, not a gift, but what a beautiful ear and a beautiful sensibility, and I think sensitivity. And, I've seen you work on the stage, and people can also, thank goodness for YouTube, it is still out there. You playing for the late great Lena Horne. I mean, not only across the country in all different locations, but on Broadway in her, it was her Grammy and Tony Award winning show.
Oh, it was such a wonderful experience. And I was right out of school at the time.
What did she call you? I know every time I see you, Steve, because she mentions you during the concert, right?
Oh, she always called me her sweet guitarist, which was really a nice moniker to have, especially considering that now I had just graduated from Columbia University. I'll backtrack just a little bit.
No, please.
I started out as an astrophysics major. And 2 years into that, I was so bitten by the music bug that I felt I really want to play music, but I had a scholarship there. So I switched majors to computer science, which allowed me more time to be able to play music. And they had a joint program with Juilliard at the time. So that kind of helped. But graduating from Columbia now, I have this degree in computer science. I get recruited by IBM to be a systems analyst. I went and worked for them for, I'm going to tell you, one day. I had the suit, the shirt and tie on, and I said, this just isn't me. I said, look, the worst that's going to happen is I'll go back and program computers, but I love music so much I have to try and make it.
Yeah.
So I had to find odd jobs that gave me flexible hours enough that I could go to auditions. Case in point, going to the audition for Lena Horne. So I was selling magazines over the telephone. Now this is back in the year of the flood. So, it wasn't all this internet stuff. And, I'm on the phone doing cold calls, et cetera, et cetera. But it gave me the flexibility. So I get the call to audition for Lena Horne. And how that happened was the guitarist for Chorus Line had come and seen a band that I had up at Columbia University, which we were starting to play around town at all the big clubs here in New York City. And he said, you'd be great to play Broadway. And at that point, I'm playing rock and jazz fusion. And I'm going, Broadway? He said, no, trust me. It's a wonderful opportunity. Just come and sub for me. So I was subbing for him at Chorus Line. He gets a call to play for Lena Horne. And he said, look, it's a limited run. I can't leave this show because it's the goose that laid the golden egg. As we know, Chorus Line ran for God knows how long.
Yep.
So he said, but I'm going to send you to the audition because they're auditioning guitarists. And he kind of helped prep me for it. Now I walk in and she looks at me and goes, I think you're going to be too young. And of course, the rest of the folks said, let's just hear him out. I guess the rest is kind of history. And that I played for her right away. She said, well, you're my sweet guitarist now. And that ended up being how she would call me.
And how many years did you work with her, Steve?
Excuse me?
How many years did you work with her?
It was like maybe 3 or 4, something like that. We did the show on Broadway, which kept getting extended. And then I was out on the road with her for a while. And then she kept going out on the road. And I figured it was time for me to try and set up some roots here in New York City, which helped eventually leading to me being a studio musician and playing a lot of other Broadway shows, et cetera.
Well, that's amazing. And obviously, one of the last Broadway shows that you've done, because you've done so many, was you were lead guitarist on the Cher show, correct?
Yes.
How was
that was a blast. The music was great. The band was great. To give you an idea how much fun we were having, the end of the show, which was her big dance number, which was all her disco hits, it was kind of a medley. We'd be in the pit standing up dancing along.
I love it. Well, my husband and I got to see it. We got to meet you and see you backstage, and you gave us a little tour of the Musician Digs. That was such an amazing show.
It was great that you were able to come.
Oh my God, of course. To show up for a friend. Are you kidding? You? Done. Now, listen, you've also gotten to play for a lot of amazing artists. Beyonce, Faith Hill, how did those two come about?
Faith Hill was through the Grammys, which I used to play when they were in New York City at the time. And Beyonce was through Sesame Street, which I was the resident guitarist for years.
Wow. In addition to being such an amazing musician, Steve, you also are a prolific arranger and musical director. And you actually got to work with, well, how we met was through one of my best girlfriends and oft collaborators, the Tony Emmy winner, Lilias White, our dear friend.
Oh, I love Lilias. We have a great relationship. Matter of fact, she's very close with my wife as well, who coincidentally, we met on Lena. So Lena was propitious for many reasons.
And I think about the show that we did together that I was so fortunate to direct.
And I was so fortunate to play on.
But you also were the musical director of the acclaimed revival of Ma Rainey in California with Lilias starring, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And was that
Felicia Rashad directed that?
Oh, I don't know, really... just an up-and-coming artist, Felicia Rashad.
Yeah, that's right. And it actually ended up being the precursor of the movie that was on Netflix because Denzel Washington was coming to all the performances taking notes.
Now, how was that experience for you?
It was a wonderful experience. And I love being a music director when I'm given the freedom to express what I'm hearing, and directors are, how shall I say, influenced and responsive to it. And so it's one of those situations where I think then the sum becomes greater than the parts.
Well, Steve,
and I'm glad to be part of that.
And even in the shows that I've been able to work with you on, I've always known that you had that within your bone marrow, just as you did when you were a little kid. And you were, but I love talking with you, and I can't wait for us to do a big theatrical piece together, because
likewise,
whether or not you're the musical director or the guitarist, for me, you are an artist whose opinion I trust, and best idea wins. And so I know every time that I'm coming to you, it's as a musical director, and that you have that ability, that whatever instrument or title you have that ability to go to 30,000 feet and observe the landscape.
Well, that's kind of you to say. I appreciate that.
That's the
I mean,
truth.
my feeling is that music is cosmic, and I like to be able to help express that as much as possible.
Well, you do it, my friend, with kindness, you do it with love, and that's how you set up a room. And that's what you walk into a room with. And when I think about FENIX, this groundbreaking app that is going to be able to, and that has already not only connected artists with new fans across the country and around the world, but has helped and will continue to help artists connect with other artists. I mean, for me personally,
and artists can use that more than ever now.
I mean, that thing connection, and I have not told you this yet, but for me personally, Steve, already with FENIX, I've been able to collaborate with a composer in China, and we're working on a new musical that I'm co-conceiving and set to direct, and that was all through FENIX. And
that's amazing.
And I've always wanted to work more in the East. I'm sure that you have worked all over the East. Have you?
But it would be nice to be able to do that in the comfort of your home.
And what a perfect time to do that. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right, considering that everybody is kind of held hostage at this point in time.
Well,
and that it's a little harder to be traveling than what it used to be.
Exactly. And when you mentioned
this is perfect.
The music is cosmic. I also think that music has the ability to heal, but also through its transcendent universal language.
I agree with you totally.
Connect now more than ever. So, when I think of you, who is not only an amazing musician, but you are an amazing arranger, composer, musical director, artist, to be able just to continue to connect with new collaborators, you are such a bright light that just seems to yes any opportunity that might seem even remotely correct.
Oh, I feel the same way about you. So this is wonderful. And
Well,
I'm glad that, and I'm hoping more people on FENIX feel the same way about music. I don't know if you're familiar with Edgar Cayce. He happened to have been an American clairvoyant, considered the sleeping prophet. This was the turn of the 20th century.
Okay.
And one of his quotes, which I find very appropriate, especially now, is that only music may span the space between the finite and the infinite. That's what music does, especially if it's done right. And I feel that you're one of those vehicles that helps.
Well, I think the same about you, and what a perfect way to end, because I can't beat that quote. My friend, it is so good to see you. And
it's great to see you too. And thank you for this opportunity. And I hope that FENIX catches on with all of these musicians that need to get their music out there.
God bless you, Steve. Talk soon.
God bless you too. Thank you.
In the digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.